All right. Hare Krishna. So we are reading the translation of the song Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Who wrote the song? Anybody remember? Who wrote this song, Shad Goswami? Srinivasacharya. Yes, correct. Okay. Who will read the first? Who wants to volunteer for the first paragraph?
I can I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rup Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who are always engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna and dancing. They are just like the ocean of love of God, and they are popular both with the gentle and with the ruffians, because they are not envious of anyone. Whatever they do, they are all pleasing to everyone, and they are fully blessed by Lord Chaitanya. Thus, they are engaged in missionary activities, meant to deliver all the conditioned souls in the material universe.
Okay, thank you very much. So this song is written by Sri Nivasacharya. Now, last year, who did the presentation on Sri Nivasacharya? Was it Natasha Mataji or Rakshita Mataji?
I did, Prabhuji.
Natasha Mataji. So, except Natasha Mataji, can anybody else tell whose disciple is Srinivas Acharya?
Jiva Goswami?
Gopal Bhatt Goswami.
Okay. Actually, you both are right. He is disciple of Gopal Bhatt Goswami, but he learned his Shiksha Guru is Jeev Goswami also. So, good. So, he's disciple of Gopal Bhatt Goswami and Shiksha disciple of Jeev Goswami. So, he wrote the song. So, he's glorifying all the six Vaishnavas. And what is he saying specifically? That he starts by saying that who are engaged in chanting of the holy name, chanting and dancing, and they are popular among Dheer as well as Adhir. So Dheer means gentle, sober, nice people. Adhir means they are not so gentle and sober. So Prabhupada used the words ruffians. Why? Because they are not envious. They don't. There is a word Ajat Shatru, means who who has no enemy. Basically, who doesn't consider anyone as his enemy. So they are not envious, so they don't consider anyone as the enemy. Like Natasha Mataji was mentioning about envy the other day, right? Very detailed way she was describing how we are envious of everyone practically. So here it is mentioned in non-envious. And then whatever they do, they are pleasing to everyone and they are fully blessed by Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had given the Goswamis the blessings as well as the instructions. So the other day, devotees were telling what 4 instructions were given to the Goswamis headed by Rup and Sanatan. What were the 4 instructions given? So many of you answered in the group. Did anybody cross-checked after that?
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, there is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrit where all the instructions are listed. I just can't find that verse.
Can't find the verse. Can you remember? Can you
Yes.
paraphrase?
It started with Krishna Tattva, Krishna. I can't remember, Prabhuji. I heard it in one of the lectures by Adi Gadadhar Prabhu. He quoted that verse.
Oh, is it? Okay, very nice. So,
and then I tried to find it. I couldn't find it.
okay. So first, obviously, like was mentioned, to read all the Vedic scriptures and establish the essence of all the religion, the Vedanta. The essence of everything is bhakti. To establish that on the basis of scriptures. So scrutinizingly studying the scriptures, because the next shloka will come, it will say that how they were scrutinizingly studying the scriptures. So that is first point. Second point was to rediscover the places of Krishna's pastimes. Krishna did so many pastimes there. So to discover all the places and establish them as a place of worship. Then to build temples and establish deity worship. So they can worship the deities and build temples. And then the fourth one is to write books and show by personal example and teach people how to carry Vaishnava etiquettes. What are the ways of Vaishnava etiquettes? How sadachar, how the devotee has to behave. So all these were the instructions given. Anything I'm missing? I think these are the ones which I remember. So these were the instructions given by the Lord, and all these Goswamis, they were focused on the service, whatever instruction came. Okay, we'll go to the next shloka. Who will read second one?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can I read?
Mataji, read, please.
Hare Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the 3 worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for reading. So how many of you can tell me the name of all 6 Goswamis without looking? We just want to know who all can at least tell the name of all the Goswamis. Okay, so Natasha Mataji, Raksha Mataji. Anybody else? Okay, so all those devotees who are a little uncomfortable, if they keep reading these lines, you can keep mute and you read with everybody else, because all the names will come. That way you will get familiar with all the Goswami names. At least that will be very nice. So in this shloka, we already discussed how they were scrutinizingly studying all the scriptures and establishing the Sanatan Dharma, eternal religious principles. And this is actually for the benefit of all human beings. The way Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the essence of all the scriptures and his followers and given to us, actually it is much more accessible than in the past. Many devotees, sometimes they describe how when they read books from other acharyas, Madhva Sampradaya or Ramanuja Sampradaya, they are not able to actually get the access. And Vaishnava philosophy presented by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is even further deep. And still you are getting the access because of the Goswamis and of course because of Srila Prabhupada. So they are the one who are worth taking shelter of. And what is their mood? They are absorbed in the mood of gopis. So if you see these 6 Goswamis, they are actually assistants of the gopis. So gopis are helping Srimati Radharani, and the gopis have further assistants, and they are the manjaris. So these are the manjaris. Anybody wants to add anything so far in the first 2 shlokas? Okay, we'll go to the third one. Who wants to read the third one?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, Madhu, go ahead.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Srila Rup Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jeev Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who are very much enriched in understanding of Lord Chaitanya and who are thus expert in narrating his transcendental qualities. They can purify all conditioned souls from the reactions of their sinful activities by pouring upon them transcendental songs about Govinda. As such, they are very expert in increasing the limits of the ocean of transcendental bliss. And they are saviors of the living entities from the devouring mouth of liberation.
Thank you, Mataji. You want to share a few points from this shloka?
Prabhuji, they're saying that they are basically that they know the mood of Lord Chaitanya and they can properly narrate his pastimes and qualities. And by their mercy, all the conditioned souls can get purified of their sinful reactions. And they have they are expert. I didn't understand this last line, Prabhuji, too much. They're saviors of the living entities from the devouring mouth of liberation. Basically, I think they're saying that they give them bhakti, and people that are interested in like impersonal aspect of just mukti will also be saved and go to the platform of bhakti by giving them the bliss and telling them the songs about Krishna.
Yes, Madhavi. Basically the same. Very nice. And of course, we remember the most obvious shloka here. And it says, who are very much enriched in understanding of Lord Chaitanya, who are expert in narrating his transcendental qualities. So in understanding of Lord Chaitanya, they also knew what is the heart of Lord Chaitanya, like Rupa Goswami. So what is that shloka which Rupa Goswami is glorified as? That he knows the heart of Lord Chaitanya. We recite it every day.
Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutra.
Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam. So whom are we singing that shloka for? Singing for Rupa Goswami, right? That Rupa Goswami is the one who knows what is there in the heart. So let us follow his footsteps. Okay, who wants to read fourth? Anybody wants to make any other point in the first three shlokas? Okay, who wants to read the fourth one?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who kicked off all association of aristocracy as insignificant. In order to deliver the poor conditioned souls, they accepted loincloths, treating themselves as mendicants, but they are always merged in the ecstatic ocean of the gopis' love for Krishna and bathe always and repeatedly in the waves of that ocean. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhu. Thanks so much. So here, important thing here is that they kicked off all association of aristocracy. So can anybody tell some example, like out of these, who kicked all association of aristocracy?
Prabhuji,
Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami.
Okay,
yes, and
Rupa
then
Goswami,
Raghunath
Sanatana
Bhatt
Goswami,
Goswami.
Raghunath.
I think Raghunath
Raghunath
Bhatt
Das
Goswami
Goswami.
was,
Which one,
one of them
Das
was
or
like
Bhatt?
son of
Prabhuji, Raghunath Das Goswami belonged to a very, very rich family.
okay, he's the
He
only
was
son. One of them was.
Yes, perfect. So Rup Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, they're all having so much opulence, so much money, everything. They kicked it off. Why did they kicked it off and accepted a loincloth? It says accepted loincloths. Loincloths means just, piece of cloth to cover their lower part of the body. That's it. So why did they do that and became mendicants? Gopi Bhavar Samritabdi, because they were totally submerged in the ecstatic ocean of Gopi's love for Krishna. So for them, it doesn't matter whether they are living in the palace or in loincloth. They will take whatever is needed to do their service. So they were asked to go to Vrindavan and establish how a Vaishnava should be. So they were showing by their personal example how to do the service with minimal resources and being in a situation where they don't have to spend too much time and energy on decorating the body. So this is how they were merged in the ecstatic love of God. Anything else you want to add, Nirvay Prabhu, in this shloka? Anybody else would like to add anything?
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the fifth. Who wants to read the fifth one? Anyone wants to read the fifth shloka? Those who have not read so far?
I can read.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who were always engaged in worshipping Radha Krishna in the transcendental land of Vrindavan, where there are beautiful trees full of fruits and flowers, which have under their roots all valuable jewels. The Goswamis are perfectly competent to bestow upon the living entities the greatest boon of the goal of life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what were they doing after accepting loincloth? They were not going and begging for no reason. They were actually engaged in the service of the Lord, worshipping Radha Krishna in the land of Vrindavan. And they were living under trees and whatever they needed to maintain their body, fruits or whatever madhukari they used to do. And all these things appear to be very ordinary, just trees and fruits. But actually Vrindavan is, everything is so valuable. Even the dust from Vrindavan is more valuable than planets full of jewels. And as mentioned, and these fruits and flowers have under their roots all valuable jewels. And they were perfectly competent to bestow upon living entities the greatest boon of the goal of life. They can give or bestow access to achieve the highest goal of life, which is Krishna Prema. Anything else anybody would like to share from what we spoke so far? First 5 shlokas. Okay, sixth one. Would like to read sixth?
Prabhuji, I can read.
Yes, please go ahead.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who are engaged in chanting the holy names of the Lord and bowing down in a scheduled measurement. In this way, they utilized their valuable lives, and in executing these devotional activities, they conquered overeating and sleeping and were always meek and humble, enchanted by remembering the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So here it is mentioned the chanting was not the only thing they were doing. They were also bowing down with all in front of Vaishnavas and deities in the Lord. And it is not, sometimes people say, oh, I chant. Okay, how much do you chant? I chant the whole day. Whole day? Oh, how many malas? No mala. Just in the mind, always it's going on. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sometimes people say like that. And sometimes people say, oh, why do we need to chant on the beads? Just chant in the mind and just chant, on the fingers. But that is not what Acharyas did. Sankhya Purvak Naam Gana Nati Bhi. Sankhya Purvak, counting, exact measurements. They were counting how many times they have done. Because mind is very tricky. Mind will tell, Arey, you already chanted what 16? You chanted 64 rounds. But when you calculate, actually it was 64 times. I was thinking it's 64 rounds. But actually mind defeats.
64 times.
So this is how the mind defeats us. So we have to be very conscious about our practices. Whatever cannot be measured, you will have very hard time in improving it. All right. So whatever cannot be measured cannot be improved. Some people say like that. So measurement, and then also they were bowing down in front of the Lord and deities, and they will bow down 1,000 times. Now we see if we have to bow down only 1, 2, 3, it becomes big austerity. This, that, pains, aches. They were bowing down 1,000 times. And sometimes if you see, some researchers say that the more you do this kind of an exercise, the longer life it is. I was surprised to hear that, but that's what it says. So they were utilizing their valuable lives and executing every aspect of their life focused on devotional service, and so much so that eating and sleeping also was conquered. So sometimes the Goswamis, they forgot to eat. A couple of days they did not even eat. And even when they eat, what will they eat? Like Raghunath Das Goswami will take few drops of buttermilk. That's it, the whole day. And then sometimes, they'll realize, my God, I was so busy in work, I didn't even realize last night I didn't even sleep. Hello, tonight I will sleep at least, few minutes. Like that. Has this happened to anyone? Ansh, ever happened you forgot to sleep? Huh? You realized that, I didn't sleep for two nights. And then in the morning they were awake at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Even if they sleep, they'll sleep for 1 or 2 hours. That was the standard of Goswamis. Anybody wants to add anything?
I can sleep 1 second.
Okay, let's go to the 7th. Anybody wants to read the 7th shloka? 8th? Okay, Ansh will read.
No, I can sleep.
Okay, I will read this. I offer my respectful obeisances unto 6 Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jeev Goswami, Shri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who were sometimes on the bank of Radha Kund lake or the shores of Yamuna, and sometimes at Vamshivata. There they appeared just like mad men in the full ecstasy of love of Krishna, exhibiting different transcendental symptoms in their bodies, and they were merged in ecstasy of Krishna consciousness.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jeev Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, O Lalita, who were chanting very loudly, were everywhere in Vrindavan, shouting, O Queen of Vrindavan Radha Rani, O Lalita, O son of Maharaj, where are you now? All now. Are you just on the hill Govardhan, or are you under the trees on the banks of Yamuna? Where are you? These were the moons of ecstasy, Krishna conscious.
Executing Krishna.
Executing Krishna conscious.
Thank you very much. So in 7th and 8th shlokas, they are saying that sometimes they were in all these holy places, Radha Kund or near Yamuna or Vamshivat. And in very, very deep state of advanced spiritual life, one is so happy that the body actually has different kinds of transformations. These are the symptoms of ecstasy, symptoms of ecstatic love of God. So one will be extremely happy, tears may come from the eyes, one will start having hairs will stand on end, one will be totally having a mood in which one will be jumping and dancing. So there are different external features which are described in books like Nectar of Devotion, which can happen. So one may even faint. So these ecstatic features were being displayed, and sometimes people think, oh, this may be mad, but actually in Vrindavan that's how it is. They get so much into deep moods of ecstasy, and they were they were chanting very loudly everywhere. They were just crying in the mood that where is Srimati Radharani, where is Lalita, where. So these very difficult for us to understand. We can't even theoretically understand what they are talking about, because this needs a very, very high spiritual advancement to understand what kind of mood they are talking about. So they'll go to this different holy places and display Krishna conscious ecstatic symptoms while they were executing the various devotional services. Okay, anybody wants to add anything, or if we'll quickly do the song now? Not quickly, we'll take our time, but we'll do the song. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, everybody can see it?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great. So let's start. Please start. Okay. Shad Goswami Pad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nanartana Paro Premamritam Bonidhi. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nanartana Paro
Premamritam
Gira Gira Janau Priyau Priya Karo Nirmatsarau Pujito
Dhira dhira jana priyo priya karo Nirmitsaro pujito
Shri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarako Shri
Chaitanya kripa dharau vibhu Bharavahantaraka
Mande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Mande
Rupa sanatana raghuyo
Jiva
Gopalaka
Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Shadharma Sanstapako Nana Shastra
Shastra Vicharana
Puna
Dharma
Dharma
Samstapako
Samstapako
नाहितकारिणो त्रिभुवने मन्यौ शरण्याकरो लोको
करिणो त्रिभुवने शरण्यकरो
राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजना नन्दे नमस्तालिको राधा
कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजना कालिकौ
रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको वन्दे रूप
सनातन रघुयुगो गोपालको
श्रीगौरङ्गगुणानुवर्णनविधो श्रद्धा समृद्ध्यन्वितौ श्रीगौरङ्गगुणानुवर्णनविधौ श्रद्धा समृद्ध्यन्वितौ तापोतापनिकीर्तनौ तनुभृता गोविन्दगानामृतये तापोतापनकीर्तनौ तनुभृता गोविन्दगानामृतये आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनैकनिपुनो कैवल्यनिस्तारको
बुद्धिवर्धनैकनिपुनो कैवल्यनिस्तारको
रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको वन्दे रूप सनातन
रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको
पातु नम शेषमण्डलपति श्रेणीं सदा तुच्छवाट्
पूर्णमशेषमण्डलपति सदा
वारि गणेश कौ करुणया कौपीन कौ भूत्वा
दीन गणेश कौ करुणया कौपीनकन्याश्रितौ
भावरसामृताब्धिलहरी डोलमग्नौ
भावरसामृताभिलहरी कल्लोलमग्नौ
वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको वन्दे रूप सनातनौ
रघुयुगो गोपालको
पूजत कोकिल हंस सारसगना कीर्णे मयूराकुले
कोकिलहंसा सरसगा कीर्णे मयूराकुले
रत्ननिबद्धमूलविद्वा श्रीयुक्तवृन्दावने
नानार स्मरगस्तमूलवितता श्रीगुप्तवृन्दावने
राधा कृष्णमहर्निशं प्रभजतौ जीवर्तदौ यौ मुदा राधा
कृष्णमहर्निशं प्रभजतौ जीवर्थदौ यो मुदा
वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको वन्दे रूप
सनातन रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको
संख्यापूर्वक नाम गाननतिभिः कालावसाने कृतौ
पूर्वकनामगनानतिभिः कालवासने प्रीतौ
विहार विजितौ चत्यन्तदीनौ च यौ
निद्राहारविहारकदिविजतौ सत्यन्तीयतादीनशतौ
राधा कृष्ण गुणा स्मृतिर्मधुरिमा नन्देन सम्मोहितो राधा
कृष्णगुणास्मृतिर्मधुरिमा आनन्देन सम्मोहितो
रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको
वन्दे रूपसनातन रघुयुगो श्रीजीवगोपालको
राधा कुण्ड तटे कलिन्दतनया तीरे च वंशी वटे
राधाकुण्डतटे कलिन्दतनया तीरे च वंशीवटे
मुन्मदवसल्दशेषदशया ग्रष्टौ प्रमस्तौ सदा
प्रेमोन्मदवसाद शेषदास्यया द्रष्टौ प्रमतौ सदा
गायन्तौ च कदा हरेर्गुणवरम् भावाभिभूतौ मुदा
गायन्तौ च कदा हरेर्गुणवरम् भावभिभूतौ मुदा
रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको वन्दे
वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुयुगो श्रीजीवगोपालकौ
हे राधे व्रज देवी के चललिते हे नंद सुनो कुता हे श्री गोवर्धन कल्प पाद पतले कालिंदिवने कुता श्री
गोवर्धन कल्पपदपस्तले कालिंदिवने कुता
घोषन्तविधि सर्वतो व्रजपुरे हे धीर्महाविह्वलौ
शान्तस्थिति सर्वतो व्रजपुरे गिरिजे महादेवलौ
रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्री जीव गोपालको वंदे
वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ
वंदे रूप सनातनो रघुयुगो श्री जीव गोपालको वंदे
रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ
षड गोस्वामी अष्टकम की जय। लीला प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय